Alright, this is the Tipton-Haynes house. There's Penny up there. She just unlocked it for us. I think she's looking for us. We just connected up with Penny. Original stone chimney.
This is the original chimney of Colonel John Tipton's log cabin. What's interesting about it is that he made it extra large. It's my assumption that he knew he was going to expand and raise the ceiling internally. You can see it's a fairly high roof, and that's as high as the roof would have been of his log cabin. So a good sized log cabin. German stonemasons came down early in the settlement of this area and did the stonework of the chimney. You can see also down is the basement kitchen. This is the original kitchen before Colonel John added an outside kitchen which came later. You want to walk in? Watch your head.
Whoa.
Now, I have to turn this off in a minute.
Sure.
Hear the pump. And of course, years ago, they would have had the fire going here. Sometimes we refer to this as the basement kitchen or the winter kitchen. In the summer, I think it'd be terribly hot here to have this and would heat perhaps part of the other part of the building there.
Would this stay cool in the summertime down here, like a root cellar?
It would stay cool like this. It's like it was used later on as a root cellar, the end of the 1800s. But I think both the Tipton and the Haynes family did use the fireplace here. The upstairs kitchen is not quite as large to do a lot of cooking.
Were they short? Look at these ceilings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, keep in mind, we know Colonel John Tipton had 2 slaves. He paid tax on slaves, so at least on 2, the first time he paid taxes in Washington or in North Carolina, they would have been down here. I would assume that he would have brought his slaves down from.
And this is the trundle bed or the bunk bed.
The trundle bed. What I've been told about that, not only were people smaller, but I think they had a tendency sometimes to sleep in a semi-seated. Better for their lungs, you know, going through like Monticello or whatever, they're not large. And I think, we know Tipton was a big man. The verbal or the written description we have, he was not a small man. He was a good sized man. So was Haynes, close to 6 feet. So you can see the large stones there that would face the outside and then the below ground level here. Here again, everything was self-contained for fear of Indians. We have a written description from the Draper papers that the building, the log cabin, was 25 feet by 35 feet. 2 windows upstairs, downstairs, or 2 windows upstairs, not downstairs. There were no windows downstairs in the original cabin.
All right.
I'm taking you the way that we normally go, and if we come up through here, you know, here again, keep in mind that Colonel John Tipton had his log cabin, then here his son John Tipton Jr. added on, then there would have been a separate kitchen back here. It was Haynes during the 1850s that this was connected in the L which we have today. So this is really a Haynes addition here. We come in, we can see the exposed walls of Colonel John Tipton's original log cabin. But you can see what's unusual about it, which not many of the houses have, is you have the limestone that's been cut and put in between, and then the chinking, making for a very, very heavy building. Here again, this is the frame of what the back door of the Tipton cabin would be. And if we scoot over here, the original building would have gone about over to here. So we're talking a good-sized log cabin for someone in the 1780s. 25 by 35. Even people during the Civil War were in more like 20 by 20, so it was a good size log cabin. Let me take you in and show you how the house expanded. I think what's a good shot too is to stand here, and if you look to the other corner, that will give you the depth of what the log cabin was, the basement, or I mean the main floor of it. Because this is right where Colonel John Tipton, or his son, he removed the whole wall, one whole wall of the cabin. And I think Colonel John Tipton did it. I just do not believe that he lived here for 29 years without expanding the house, because the sawmills were here. And, if you want my assumption, I think Colonel John died in here. But this is my just personal, nothing that we have anything that bases on it. But certainly he lived to be 84 years old, and he did die in the house somewhere. And I think this was built as his bedroom. And we have it decorated now more for the 1850 period, because that's what the outside of the house looks like. So. Okay. When we stand here, I'm fond of Rhoda, and David was supposedly had fiery upstairs, and you know, this is more like the Haynes. I don't know whether, as we said, we know that this, you know, John Tipton's Jr.'s was too.
But you give a very good tour.
Yeah, this is the quilt over here. This is.
Are you doing something later, because so you don't do double duty there?
Well, I thought, you know, I was going to say to Beth maybe in the afternoon when I've heard Dave talk before on it, and I was just going to maybe come over during that time. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
But get some of the kids to do some of the karting and whatever.
All right.
I think we could rope a few in and maybe get some. We could do it right at the end of Dave's.
Before. That's why you have editing.
Editing, yes. Okay. I don't mean to jump, but we'll need to get a copy of the harbors that shows that in-between period, which is the way that John Jr. would have looked like when he was here.
Who is this?
These are they're related to the Tiptons. Now I'm not sure. They're it's Dr. and Mrs. Alexander Porter, and they're related to the Tiptons as well as the Haynes and the Massengills of the Rocky Mountain and other state-owned site. What's interesting is that the clothing is the period around 1830, so it is a good example of what John Jr. would have been wearing during that time. So.
Is this John Jr.?
No, this is Dr. Alexander Porter.
I see.
And I can find later how he's connected to the Tiptons. There is a relationship to them. This room's been in a long time. Can you smell the Murphy's oil still?
How about that?
I love it, I can't tell you. Here are the new chairs that Selma Hicks, one of our Tipton descendants. Let me go ahead.
Was she here? Is that Mr. Hicks?
She's here. Clayton helped us with the chairs. The shorter
All right,
man.
yes.
Okay, and what they did was, let me just set them out here. These are two, and there was another chair upstairs where we had a leather bottom. But two of the very old country type chairs that really would fit into a kitchen like this. The other thing I want to point out in terms of chairs is that these are chairs that we know were made in Jonesboro. They're the Windsor chairs, and we know from Colonel John Tipton Jr., John Jr.'s inventory, he had a set of Windsor chairs. Very possibly these were given to us by a Tipton descendant. Could have been really the chairs that were here. So they're really, to me, they're lovely chairs. I just think we're fortunate to have them. But it's nice to get these donations. We get a number of donations in terms of furniture from the Tipton family, and we're just dependent on that source. Here again, this kitchen does, I mean, the fireplace here, it doesn't have the depth to do a lot of cooking. You know, it's more of a warming than to move on into the other.
Get you a copy of it instead of making one that's building that you want. Y'all get kind of together. Alright, ready? Got our toilet, you want to kiss me?
Yep.
Bring off your tape on my computer and you can put it in your newsletter.
You're going to go 7 miles or so down to Jonesboro, the oldest town. And this was the main road. And you can see in relation to the chimney that, you know, Colonel Tipton was on the main road. Certainly entertained many travelers just because he was in this position. the spring down below also attracted a lot of people.
This is the main road here, to Jonesboro.
Right, and then if you turn around, you can see where not only is it mowed here, but from the air you can see that's the old Buffalo Road where the buffalo packed it down. From the aerial view, you can see an indentation of where the buffalo was. And it would curve around to the left and go to the spring. And if you go on down that way, that was the original road that went to North Carolina. There was no direct road over to North Carolina. You had to go north or south before. And that ties in with the Battle of the City, right? The whole issue there is that North Carolina could not get its troops over to really protect the area here as new settlers came in. We just had a new copper roof put on it about 2 years ago. Original would have been tin, but the same standing seam. Very similar in terms of it's a modified Greek revival type of architecture. First freestanding law office in Johnson City.
Tent here. What do we call this up here? Get together, food tent.
Get together. To get we have our vegetable garden over there, and the herb garden, which of course would be very important.
That's a colonial.
Well, the herbs are from the early period, and the same thing there with the little roses to the right of the herb garden. But you can see the broomcorn in the background there with a tassel. And the yellow there is some of the tansy, which was used for as a moth repellent.
Yeah, I have some
and
of
dry
that.
the flowers, and we use them to decorate the house in winter. They dry nicely, the colors.
Where do you live at? Does somebody live down?
In the apartment.
Yeah, who's that?
It's
just a private person?
It's a couple.
I see.
That's as close as we have to a maintenance, and they're really not as good at maintenance.
There's Charles Tipton.
Yep.
Mr. Charles.
He looks nice this morning, all dressed up. I'm pleased we have some young ones here, little toddlers. I think that's wonderful to have that. I think we need to get the children involved early with the site. I think we're getting more and more people coming through the site who see this as the home place. I think we live in a more mobile generation.
Absolutely.
And I find that, that young couples are bringing their little ones here, and then they'll come back in a couple of years as the kids grow. And they do adopt this as their place. So I hope we can continue that tradition. There's Joyce coming. Joyce has been really good.
Ready? This is Joe Marvin Tipton Reed. Where's that? Marvin? Marvin.
We'll never hear that name again.
Tipton's not on there. I don't. No. She's a Tipton now.
Oh, yes.
And you're from Texas?
Fourth generation Texas.
Fourth generation Texas?
Great-grandfather was the immigrant.
And he was William Tipton.
Well, no, my great-grandfather who moved to Texas was John.
John Tipton.
No middle initial.
I see.
It's really hard to track.
And you're the president of Tipton Family Association of America. You're the one who puts out the newsletter.
I send it out. Charles writes it.
All right. You send it out.
As long as I don't turn over.
We have funds that we have collected to put a monument in the Tipton Cemetery in honor of Colonel John, and we've decided on a bench because we were restricted in what we can do up there. And it would be a bench that you can go and sit and meditate. We can't move the tombstone that's already there. We can't do any digging and a lot of other things that we'd like to do. And I found the correct price, but we need to know what you would want to put on the bench from the association. In other words, the engraving on it. So we want to put in honor of Colonel John on one side, and then we need to put whatever you want to put on the back side from the association. Any suggestions?
Well, I'd like to think about it.
All right. You want to think about it? And we'll pass this around. The bench is 5 feet long. It is a blue marble. Has 2 legs, 2 pedestal legs. And I'll pass this around for you. It will be $400 for the bench. And we have funds set aside for that. and also so much per letter. They will bring it out and install it for us for that price, which is really a good buy from what I've been pricing them.
Including the lettering?
Well, the lettering is $3 a letter, but they'll do everything for us, and we have all that.
You know, the first thing that pops into my mind is something to the effect that in memory of Colonel John Tipton, an honorable and patriotic man.
Okay.
Something simple and sweet.
Something simple on the front, and then on the back, we want to put Tipton Family Association so that 100 years from now, someone will know
Somebody
where
can probably
it
come up with something better than that. That's my first.
Okay.
Don't you think we ought to include the date?
The date, yes. Well, we've collected the money now since before my time, and I've just been active in 3 years now. So we need, if we want the beginning date when you started it, if we want it when we installed it.
The date that the bench is put up?
The date the bench is put up.
Installation date.
Yeah.
As they say otherwise, every man has his property.
Well, my name's Derwin Triglis. I'm not related to any of you. I brought my sister-in-law's mother up from North Carolina. We were right down on the coast near Wilmington, North Carolina. And I'm just glad to be here. I've enjoyed it so far. I'm just a guest.
Well, I'm Mary Carr, and I'm from down on the coast, Emerald Isle, and it's just wonderful to be here. And I told you what lines I'm trying to find, and I don't know anything else to say. I can answer questions possibly. I can answer.
Vern Tipton. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I come through Fighting Billy. I'm John Moore from Atlanta, Georgia, born Dyer County, Tennessee, and I can go on back through, but I have to have a sheet of paper. I'm not really into this. Jonathan, Colonel John.
Okay, here. I'm Leanna Tipton, and I'm just married into the family. My husband's people come from the second son of Colonel John, and that was Benjamin. I'm Helen Teague, and her husband is my cousin, so I come from the same line.
And I'm Reese Teague, and I'm like the gentleman that opened this. I'm just a bystander. I have no connection other than Helen. I'm Helen's husband.
All right, I'm Joe Marvin Reeves. I was a Tipton before I married, and we think we come down through the line of William Tipton, who was one of the sons of first Jonathan, and down through Shadrach a couple of times, and we were in Alabama, and then they moved on to Texas. Okay, Charles?
I'm Charles Tipton from Garland, and I descend through Colonel John's son William and his son Isaac, and Isaac's son David Butler, and David Butler's son Commodore Perry Tipton, and Commodore Perry's son David Butler, and his son David Butler, and finally me.
I'm Libby Tipton Golden, and this is my sister Rebecca Tipton Goins. We're from Colonel John's son Jonathan's line. We live in Cleveland, Tennessee, and our direct ancestors came down there and surveyed the land and stayed. Okay, over to you.
I'm married to him, so I'm going to let him speak for us.
My name is Chris Beck. I'm from Samuel and his wife, Susanna Renault Tipton. And I'm the one who asked the question on people who are in the SAR. I'm anxious to find out who my other cousins who are in there with me. So if you are, please come up or make yourself known. I'd love to chat with you.
And Joseph was one of the sons of Major Jonathan. I got the Joseph straightened out.
I want her to tell you when she gets up what all she belongs to, so she must have had been from the very best strain of Tipton.
Isaac, you got skip.
Oh,
But we need to get you in there.
Isaac Tipton from Glenmore, Pennsylvania.
Isaac the third.
Isaac the third.
All right.
On the Colonel John side.
Major Jonathan. Major Jonathan.
What are you saying, huh?
He just got into this. Okay. So he's very interested, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Who's next?
You want me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Joyce Hayes. My line is Colonel John, Samuel, Margaret Esther Tipton. And Margaret Esther is sister to Robert Nave's grandmother, Martha. And I was also a Robertson. My grandfather was John Tipton Robertson, and we're from the Charles Robertson. And I was born and raised in Elizabethton, and lived there just most of my life in the area where Samuel settled and stayed.
Well, I'm Velma Tipton Curtis, live in Knoxville, and I'm from the Benjamin line. I'm Jacqueline Tipton Newman, and since James opened it up, I'm in the Founders and Patriots, Daughters of 1812, Daughters of Colonial War, Daughter of Colonial Dames, First Families of Tennessee. I'm in about 7. My children are in the Children Revolution and the Sons Revolution. My grandchildren are in Children Revolution. And Velma and I were just commenting. We're anxious to see if there are any Tiptons that have the gray streak. My grandfather had the gray streak, and she did, and her father had the gray streak. And you just don't need, but I'm always anxious to see if another Tipton.
The streak up here, she means,
Yeah,
in the hairline.
not down the back.
On the hair, but anyway.
She's a girl. Go ahead.
That is a trait that I'm always anxious to see. Thank you.
Talking about your,
had a streak on this side.
talking about your gray streak. My wife was in the beauty parlor back when she just had a gray streak and dark hair. And one lady asked the beautician, said, fix my hair like hers. She said, honey, only the good Lord can do that.
I have that all the time. People will say, I would like to know your beautician because I'd like to have a streak. Oh, I inherited this.
I'm Gloria Huckabee. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And my mother was a Tipton. And I'm descended from Samuel Tipton. I think he's the oldest son of Colonel John. So I think Chris and I may be cousins, and also President Sternay.
Okay, next one.
I'll go okay, I'll do it. I'm Nancy Wagner, and this is my aunt, Colleen Hale, and I'm from Winchester, Tennessee. She's from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we come from Jonathan down with your line, and of Colonel John, and we're both in Daughters of the American Revolution and First Families in Tennessee.
Selma?
I'm Selma Hicks, and this is my husband, Clayton Hicks, and we're from Fort Worth, Texas. And I'm from Colonel John and the Thomas line. I thought I was from Benjamin until about 3 months ago and found out different. There's a few papers over there on Benjamin. I owe a great debt of gratitude to those who have done research. It makes the issue much easier. And I'm a member of the DAR, but not on the Tipton line, and I've already sent in my papers for myself, my son, and granddaughter, who's a year and a half, for First Families of Tennessee.
Dad has the key to all the information, and we brought him with us because we were lost without him. And he's put it all on the computer. And I'm Tipton through my mother, from Jonathan Tipton Sr. through Jonathan Jr. to Colonel John, Lieutenant Benjamin, Benjamin Sr., William Butler, William Marion, and William Houston, who's my grandfather and my mother's dad. And I think that's about all. This is our first time to be here. We're really pleased to
Glad to have everybody here. Okay,
I'm Robert Tipton-Nave, better known as Bob or Robert, and I've been working on the Tipton family history the last 50 years. I'm descended from Colonel John through his oldest son Samuel, through his son Samuel Jr., who was the father of my great-grandmother Hatcher, and then goes down through the Barnes family. My mother was a Barnes. I don't have a computer, but I have quite a few files on the Tiptons, and I get correspondence from a lot of you people. But I'm running behind here lately, so if you haven't heard from me, it's not because I'm not going to answer, it's just because I haven't had a chance to get your letter answered. And I'm glad to see all of you people, and I'll talk with you later about the Tiptons.
Okay, over you.
I'm Dave Foster. My grandmother was a Tipton. She was a descendant from the Benjamin, which is the son of Colonel John. I was born in Knoxville. I now live in Orlando, Florida, in the winter and pigeon foraging in the summer.
Okay, who's next?
Herbert Lawson. I'm from Sevierville, Tennessee, and I come through Colonel John and Benjamin and Joseph Jr.
My name is Travis Stanton, Tipton Swagler. I was born in Ravenna, Kentucky. We live in Michigan now. This is my wife Donna, and I come through Major Jonathan.
I'm Colonel John Tipton.
What we discovered yesterday?
Yes. Which one do you want me to tell them? About the...
Yeah.
About
Where I live, and I told her where I live. I live in Downingtown. She says your niece lives in Downingtown.
Her sister also lives in Downingtown. When I saw his name on the book yesterday afternoon, I said, oh, I've got to know this person in Downingtown. And so I told him that my niece lives in Norwood House. And
Norwood House. His mother lives in Norwood House.
Yeah.
Small world.
And he thought he knew all the Tiptons in that area.
I didn't know that one.
I gave him 2 more.
Gail.
My name is Gail McElhaney, and I live in Bristol, Virginia. And I don't come down through Colonel John. I come down from the original Jonathan to Thomas to his son John.
I'm Mac McElhaney. I'm Gail's husband. Not a Tipton, but glad to be here.
Okay,
I'm Charles Myers, and this is my son Scott Myers. We live in Maryville. I'm a descendant of Colonel John Tipton, William Fighting Billy, Jonathan, and then I split. I come from 2 sides there. I'm Mary Ann Tipton and Martin Tipton.
I do.
And I was father of Martin Tipton, my dad, which is George Tipton, Jonathan Tipton, and then Ruth Tipton Myers.
Take over.
I thoroughly enjoyed the newspaper you sent me.
Thank you.
I want to introduce.
Next over.
I'm his
Okay.
son.
You have some back there.
Okay, we missed you.
I'm Juanita Tolliver. I'm the wife of Bill Tolliver, William Tolliver. He's descended.
Okay.
I want to introduce you to my brother, John Tipton. It's not Colonel John Tipton, but Colonel John Tipton. He's an old man, isn't he? That's my wife, Barbara. This is Barbara Tipton. And this is Major Jonathan.
Okay.
I'm Bill Tolliver. I come down through Benjamin. That was my wife.
Descended from John and John Jr.
Married Catherine Butler, and they were sisters. And this is not the first time we've had first cousins marrying in the Tipton family. That was, we've got several petitions for cousins married in the Tipton family. And believe it or not, they didn't come out, their children didn't turn out to be dwarfs or insane or whatever.
White streaks and not
Yeah, maybe they had that white streak. Anyway, going back to Samuel in Elizabethton, he left a very interesting will. It's a very lengthy will, in which he divided up his plantation.
John.